Hello everyone and welcome to my channel called Demon Story Time. Thank you so much my dear subscribers for your likes, comments, for your donation. Any kind of support is appreciated. All information for donation you can find down in comments. Everything you wish for me may return to you 100 times more back. Thank you so much. Today we continue reading this lovely book called Fairy Tales. And our story will be called, let's see, The Frog at the Well. Here's the picture. The queen is sick. The doctor fears for her life. They say she will be dead by morning. The queen dead by morning? It was unthinkable. Never had the Highlands seen such a rare and lovely woman as the queen, who now lay stretched at the threshold of death. Her foot is in the stirrup. She will ride away before morning on Death's black horse, and said the royal physician. Her black sail is hoisted. She will sail away before morning to be land from which none return, said her priest. Go, and leave not one word for us, said her 3 daughters, as they sat and wept by the bed. The queen opened her eyes and smiled. I had a dream just now. It's still so bright before me and loud in my ears. A man all in green. A cup of water from the true well would heal your sickness, he said. Then I'll go at once to the true well and bring some back, explained Prudence, the eldest daughter. Prudence, jumping to her feet. You'll see, she told her sisters. Our mother will be all right, after all. At the bedroom door, she turned back. How shall I find the true well, Mom? She asked. Follow the great white gull, whispered the queen, and spoke not a word more. As Prudence passed out of the castle gate, she looked up, and there in the sky was a big white herring gull, crying as though its red heart were broken. She followed it, over land and brook and shore and sea. She followed it, till on an island she heard the croaking of a frog. The frog was seated on a rock beside a pool of green water which shone like an emerald. Thought both frog and pond were green. It has to be said. The frog was not as pretty as the glittering pond. I hoped you'd come, said the frog. I'm waiting here for a wife. You wait a long time with a face like yours, said Prudence. Would you let me get by? I need water. Will you marry me? Asked the frog, not moving. Here is the picture of oldest daughter following the prawn. And here is the frog. I've no time to spare for fools or frogs. Of course, I won't marry you, said the Prudence, offended that such an ugly creature should even ask. How dare you? Then you won't get your water, said the frog, and jumped into the pool with a plop. Prudence took no notice. She kneeled down on the bank to scoop up water in her blue glass pitcher. But the water would not be drawn. It soaked away down into its bed until there was no more than a mud wall, swarming with beetles and snails. Marry me, carry me, love me, or go thirsty. What the heck? Sang a small, cracked voice from somewhere beneath the earth. But Prudence flung down her blue glass pitcher and smashed it, saying, "Never!" Back at the place, the queen lay closer to death than ever. Her eyes were closed, her cheeks were as sunk as a dry pond. Her two younger daughters were frantic for their sister's return, and yet when she came, she had no water, not a drop. When she told them what had happened, Patience, the second daughter, jumped up. "I'll go. It takes more than a slimy frog to keep me from what I want." Following the great white gull, she crossed land and brook, shore and sea until she too came to the island and the spring glittering as green as envy. The frog thought it was uglier than she had expected, did not take her by surprise. "I hoped you'd come," said the frog. "I'm waiting here for a wife." So I here, and here am I, the very wife for you. Just let me draw some water, and then we'll be married. The frog was so delighted that it somersaulted into the pool, crying, "Marry me, marry me, marry me, carry me." Patience stooped down and filled her red glass pitcher. Patience stooped down and filled her red glass pitcher. This time the magical water did not soak away, but looked clear and cool into the jug. No sooner was it full than Patience leaped up and set off to run, her skirt hitched up into her belt, laughing and yelping. No sooner was it full than Patience leaped up and set off to run, her skirt hitched up into her belt, laughing and yelping with triumph. "Did you really think I'd marry you, you piece of green slime? Now I've got what I want. You can whistle for a bride, if frogs can whistle." Ha ha ha. Back at the place, her sisters were delighted to see her. The queen was more sick than ever, her eyes as circled with dark as the day is, her breathing as hard as if she were under water. "Don't worry, mother," cried Patience, darting into the room. "I've brought you water from the true well. I'll be singing and laughing again before long." And she poured the water into a cup and held the cup to the queen's lips. "Tip it higher," said Prudence. "Her lips are not wet." "Tip it higher," said Charity. "Her lips are not wet." "Tip it higher," gasped the queen. "I thirst." But thought Patience tipped the cup higher and higher. The water shrank down and down in the cup and would not wet the queen's lips. Even when the Patience held the cup upside down, not a drop dripped down. She ran to the red glass pitcher for more water, but when she tipped it up, instead of gulk, 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 came only the gurk, 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 gurk of a frog's croak. The pitcher was dry. The queen turned her face to the wall. Here's the picture of Patience running from the poor frog wants to marry. Yeah, things happen. "Now I must go to the well," said Charity, the youngest, and fed back some water for Mama. "Her wings are spread and she will fly away from us before morning unless I do. Please, Mama, stay alive until I come back." Following the great white gull, she ran across land and brook, shire and sea until she came breathless to the island and the pool, as green and shining as a mermaid eye. There sat the frog on its rock. "I hoped you'd come," it said. "I'm waiting here for a wife." "I'm sorry, and I will be that wife if you will have me," said Charity. Picking up the frog in both hands, she ran with it to the nearest kirk, where a minister, much against his will, declared they were married. That was fast. Filling her green glass pitcher at the pool and carrying her husband in her apron pocket, Charity ran back over sea and shore, brook and hillside, as fast as legs would carry her. But oh, how the tears crammed her throat as her home came into sight. A black flag hung from the flagpole. The queen was already dead. "Too late. You're too late," sobbed her sisters, as she set down the pitcher beside the bed. The queen lay there as white as a gull, no breath between her lips. From Charity's pocket came the gurk, gurk, gurk of a croc's croak. "Give her the water, wife," said the frog. So Charity filled a cup and tipped it against the queen's lips. This time the water did not grow back, but trickled silvery on the queen's tongue and splashed her cheeks as well. With a sigh, the queen turned away from the wall and opened her eyes. "Thank you. That was the sweetest drink I ever tasted," she said. "Why, whatever is the matter, daughters?" Prudence gulped and Patience hiccuped, and Charity was filled with such joy that she took the frog from her apron pocket and kissed it on its ugly green nose. "Forgive me, Mama, but since you took ill, I have married without your permission. Will you give your blessing to me and my new husband? You You didn't? Said Prudence. Art said Patience. How could you? Of course, said the Queen, sitting up. You choose well, my dear. I don't believe I ever saw a more handsome or pleasant looking gentleman in all my days. The sisters stared. It was true. Instead of an ugly green frog, here is the froggy. Instead of the frog stood a dashing young man in green velvet, with green eyes and an emerald in the hilt of his sword. I am Prince Ranen, he said, bowing low to the Queen. I was enchanted by a witch for 10 long years. But your daughter married me and carried me and brought me out of magic. And for that I love her and will do all the days of my life. Wow. Which pleasant charity, for though she held her mother's life dearer than her own happiness, she had always secretly dreamed of marrying a young and handsome prince. That's it, my dears. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye.